I believe you to be a man of great spirit and fine feeling. The universe is chaotic, and you make us see it. You are a man of great vision, Mr. Tanner.
Well, I was walking around London aimlessly, trying to be enigmatic and failing. And I sat down outside this pub in a street in Covent Garden, and I looked up, and there was a sign that said J.M.W. Turner was born here in 1775. Above his father's barber shop, and I remembered that I'd bumped into Mike 5 years before that, and he'd mentioned that he was thinking about doing a film about Turner, but he told me to keep it under my hat. And so I phoned him up, and he said, "Oh, this is a coincidence. Where are you?" Well, I was sitting outside Turner's house. He said, "Well, come in." And he said, "You remember I was telling you about that Turner thing?" He said, "Well, that's going to be my next movie. Are you still up for it?" I said, "Yeah, not half." And he said, "Well, don't get excited because it's now 2010. It's going to be called Untitled 2013 because they always are. We haven't got the money. It's going to be about Turner." And I said, "I presume that's J.M.W., not Tina." And he said, "That's correct." And he said, "Not only that, would you do me the favour of going to learn how to paint for a couple of years?" And he's asked me some preposterous things in the past, which I've always done, so that was one I wasn't going to turn down, and it was very illuminating. And I was given, put into the hands of this chap called Tim Wright, who's a very brilliant portraitist and a great teacher, a professional teacher, and he took me through, not every day, but over that 2 years when I wasn't working, through all the basic disciplines of a fine art foundation course, basically. And we did everything: speed drawing, life drawing, ink, pastel, gouache. He took me through everything. We went en plein air. We did all these different things. We used all the different mediums. And he got me right up to the point where just before we started to shoot, he got me to copy one of Turner's masterpieces, which is the one that he did strapped to the mast. Yeah. And I've got it on my wall at home, and I look at it and I think, how did I do that? Because I certainly couldn't do it again. Yeah. But there's an old saying, there's nothing like the knowledge of being hanged in the morning to concentrate the mind wonderfully. The thing is about Turner, contrary to a lot of reports, and people are left thinking that most of what he says he's grunting isn't actually. I think people are left with that because that's how he expresses his emotion. But he does, and he did have this incredibly insightful knowledge of not only architecture but Greek mythology, and all sorts of amazing things that an autodidact with an inquisitive mind learns. So, yeah, so the language and, you know, getting into costume early in the morning, getting into character, and then not only having to try and work on his character, but also how to improvise in Georgian English was actually a bit of a challenge. But Mike knew that I was a big lover of Dickens, and without trying to get the sympathy vote here, when I was ill, I was seriously ill, and I had a long period of recovery, and as a sort of way of escaping from what might or might not happen to me, because there was a question mark over it, I read all of Dickens back to back, and so I had this very strong, instinctive, and passionate feeling for 19th century, late Georgian, early 19th century English, and Mike knew that. So I think that may be one of the reasons he asked me to do it, because of that feeling for it, you know.